spent in a miserable way.
U.S. News House Democrats have new power. They still face first as a candidate and now as president. Trump has steadfastly declined to follow his predecessor's example by releasing his tax returns, leaving details of his business dealings and personal wealth shrouded in mystery. With Trump's lawyers threatening over the release of the returns, Democrats are expected to go directly to the Internal Revenue Service and demand the documents under an obscure law move that may not guarantee quick results. The law specifies that the leaders of the House and Senate tax writing committees each have the power to request taxpayer information and states that Yet the unprecedented nature of such a request, combined with the political drama surrounding Trump's return, would likely draw extended legal review from the Treasury Department. Treasury. The decision of how to handle a request for Trump's return will fall to Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin, one of the president's closest confidants and earliest backers. A Treasury spokesman.
Raindrop, drip, drop top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that.